Alright, so I'm in Calkewalk Sonar X2, and I've recorded, you've heard me record this melody for the hook, right? Let's play it again.
Wait till I get my mojo right. I will be your every fantasy. Soon as I get my mojo right, I will make you fall in love with me.
Okay, so again, I know I've said this before too. This is about as silly a song as I can come up with. I'm just trying to do it fast, so you kind of get the idea of, you know, or what to keep in mind when you're trying to put a song together. What is the hook gonna sound like? What are you gonna do with the hook? So what I'm gonna do right now is, I know I mentioned before that I would add, you know, I usually add on top of the melody maybe an octave higher, an octave lower. So rather than blow you guys' ears out with me singing my acapella, not acapella, with me singing a falsetto, I'm just going to do a low on top of that. Wait till I get my mojo right. I will be your every fantasy. Soon as I get my mojo right, I will make you fall in love with me. Alright, so there we have the double. You call that, and that basically.
I'm just not that strong. Wait till I get my mojo right. I will be your every fantasy. Soon as I get my mojo right.
That will give your melody more foundation in the mix. And when we get to the mix, I know I've been saying this a lot too, you'll understand it later. And I really mean that. I say that a lot in these tutorials, but you will understand it a little bit later. But it gives your melody foundation. Thickens up the vocals a little bit. Now, there are plugins that do that. For me, it sounds a little more robotic rather than singing it myself. So that's why I sing it myself. Again, depends on what your taste is. Chances are, if you like electronic music, you're only going to need one or two voices. If you like country music, this would be really good for you if you're a country music singer, because they use, you know, a lot of vocals in country music, obviously. If you're a rock musician, then you're probably not going to use a lot of harmonies. You're probably going to maybe put a triple on that melody, but all the same tone. Maybe pan one to the left, pan one to the right, and keep one straight down the middle for your harmonies. Or a lot of times you may not have any harmonies at all, just maybe one voice straight down the middle. But it's still good to layer a couple of vocals underneath the melody to give it foundation, to give it a nice round, solid sound, regardless of whether you use your own voice or you use a plugin. This also gives you an opportunity to create your own style, your own sound. And that's what I meant earlier when I said there is no wrong or right way to do it. You know, you just, you know, at the end of the day, when you're done recording your vocals, you want to get the right mix on those vocals so you come up with that sound. And you, again, if you're trying to compete with commercial music, like if you're in the pop realm or if you're in hip hop or R&B, then there are some things that you do got to stick to in order to stay within that realm. But if you're doing like folk music, or you're doing more alternative or abstract stuff, then, you know, as long as you come up with a great melody, you know, you can almost do it any way you want. You know, the cool thing about being an independent musician too is that there are no rules. And, you know, if you can make it sound good, then do it. That's what's important, you know. And how do you know it's good? You know it's good by when it's not just you that likes it, and not just your wife, and not just your husband and your sister. Those people don't count, okay? They're going to like it no matter what. Even if they don't like it, it's rare that they tell you that they don't like it because they don't want to hurt your feelings. You need to go to people like people of YouTube strangers who are behind a monitor, and they can hide and they can say whatever they want to say, and chances are they do say whatever they want to say, and a lot of it can be hurtful. But even if it's hurtful, there's usually a lot of truth to that, or there's usually some amount of truth to it, you know. So I'm gonna move on again, because I know I go into these rants, and I'm sorry.
But I'm just not that strong.
Okay.
Wait till I get my mojo right.
So, for the sake of this tutorial, I want to add a couple harmonies on there, just so you see how, you know, adding some harmonies work. Now, when you add harmonies, you want to create a stereo field, so that's why you sing them at least twice, so you can pan them. Sometimes hard left, hard right, but most of the time you don't want to do hard, each one hard left, hard right. You want to mix it up a little bit. You want to maybe go 50% one way, 50% the other way, 60, 60, 70, 70. You want to create a stereo field where it gives it that nice round sound. I'm gonna turn my music back on.
I'm just not that strong. Wait till I get my mojo right. I will be your every fantasy. Soon as I get my mojo right.
Soon as I get
I will make you fall in love with me.
I'm making fun.
And there goes my future quick. I'm just not that strong. Wait till I get my mojo right. I will be your every fantasy.
I'll be your every fantasy. I'll be your every fantasy. So I'm just gonna do some harmonies on parts of the chorus here, and we'll go. Okay, here we go. I will be your every fantasy. Soon as I get my mojo right. Okay, so I'm gonna leave that one called, instead of harmony on that last portion of the chorus, I'm gonna leave that unison. They call that unison. So you got unison, you got harmony. I will make you, I will be your every fantasy. I will be your every fantasy. Soon as I get my mojo right. Okay, so let's listen back to that.
That's wrong. Wait till I get my mojo right. I will be your every fantasy. Soon as I get my mojo right. Soon as I get my mojo right. Wait till I get my mojo right. I will be your every fantasy. Soon as I get my mojo right. Soon as I get my mojo right. So I'm gonna go over here and just do that one part there. Just gonna. Soon as I get my mojo right. Soon as I get my mojo right. Okay. More on this silly song. Now you may have seen me just press play and then hit the R. If you are at a complete stop in Sonar and you press R, it will count in. And you can hear it like this. Right? But if you play first, I will be your every fan, and then press R, it will record while in play. It will, as long as you have one of the tracks armed,
like it is right here, it will play. And that goes for just about any DAW. So, and if it's not there by default, you can change the settings to where it can do that. Alright. Now, I have my harmonies. Regardless of whether they are actually good sounding harmonies, they're harmonies, or they're multiple voices. Let's just call them multiple voices, because calling them harmonies is probably a bad thing, as bad as they sound. Okay. Now, what I'm doing now is kind of killing dead noise, and it also helps with pre-mixing. You know, the more edits you can do to clean up your recording and your clips on the fly, the less you have to do in post. So as you see, I'm just highlighting everything and kind of cutting everything at the same time. But what I have now is my hook.